everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Outside Line Podcast. The Outside Line Podcast. Outside Line Podcast.
Hang on to her, buddy. There's still three. He got him. He's
It just makes sense. It's too logical for them, for NASCAR, though.
Carson.
I'm glad you hear us, NASCAR. Make sure you keep listening. We'll see what happens. I'm going to take a breath here. That was a long rant.
Those cars are a lot tougher than an F1 car.
Yeah, that's what I like about IndyCar. You really need the spotter.
This is going to be fun. Very interesting weekend, to say the least, in NASCAR. Mid-Ohio, it was less than mid. It was a terrible race. I don't even want to talk about it. Corey Heim got the dub at Mid-Ohio with his second win of the year. And John Hunter Nemechek, Xfinity Series winner for his third win of the year and his first at Atlanta, I believe.
Can I make a note about the Xfinity?
So,
You're
Justin
that
Haley
about it.
Well, yeah, because I've defended Justin Haley for so long, and he just let me down this Saturday because he's racing for the win, and obviously everybody knows, thanks to Kyle Busch with the whole Alex Bowman incident back in 2017 in the Bud Shootout, you cannot go too wide with the guy in second place if you want a chance to win on the last lap at a restrictor plate race. And unfortunately, that's what Haley did. The part that's the kicker for it, it's one thing if he makes that move and it doesn't work out. That's fine. We move on to next week. He'll learn from it. That's fine. The kicker is the fact that he didn't take responsibility. And in his interview afterwards, he tried to say that his car stalled. That is the biggest lie I have ever heard in my life. His car did not stall. Okay. He had a run and took it. And the car continued to speed up past Hemrick. So to tell me that to sit there and say that my car stalled, are you kidding me, bro? Like, I'm a supporter of his. I defend his. I said he'd make the Cup playoffs. But geez, man, own up to your own mistakes. You cost yourself and your teammate a shot to win. And then you went and told the media that it was your car and the gas tank's fault. Excuse me? Because you made an idiotic move? I'm sorry. You're wrong. Justin Haley, you should have stayed with your teammate. Your car is not to be at fault. Have a nice day. Please get in the freaking Cup playoffs so I can look like a genius and stop looking stupid.
I can say the same thing about Noah Gragson, but he's making me look really dumb right now.
Oh, after last week, there's no saving Noah.
No.
Yeah.
Turn
That
6.
mess.
Yeah, turn 6 is just not pleasant.
It's hard. I mean, I can attest because, like, I do, like I said, I do sim racing. I mean, I have raced on a couple Baconators, and it's difficult, man. You're down to miss a couple corners if you've eaten a couple Baconators before the race. So, I'm just saying, like, your legs are a little bit slower.
How old is Haley?
Justin Haley is 20s, man.
Late 20s, I think.
He sounded like that was like
24.
Okay, never mind. He's young. He's younger than I thought.
Excuse that a 12-year-old would make.
He is 24, and I will say that there's a lot of guys that. How old's Tyler Reddick?
Reddick's.
I think he's
older than you think he would be.
So Tyler Reddick is
baby.
Tyler's 27. Tyler's 27. So this actually plays very well into my argument because when Tyler was 24, he was running in the Xfinity Series. I'll be honest, I couldn't stand Tyler Reddick for the longest time when he was in the trucks in the Xfinity Series. I thought he was a jerk. I didn't like him. I didn't like his personality. As he's gotten into the Cup Series, he's matured a little bit and he's grown on me to a point where, like, I think he's mature, and I think that even when he does get upset, he does it in a more mature way than what he used to. He doesn't take everything to Twitter. I feel like he used to take everything to Twitter when he was younger. So at the same time, you look at ages, right? And as he ages a little bit more, I think that you're not going to see as many of these. But this does remind me of how I felt about Reddick at this age. And so, with some time, Haley could mature and we could see more wins and stuff out of him for sure. But not more. He hasn't had any in the Cup Series, but you get my point.
Speaking of other young drivers, poor Tony Bredinger. I never can get her name right, but was it this past week that she missed the ARCA race because she didn't have sponsorship?
I believe so.
I think so.
And it's first race she's ever missed, I believe.
I read it. I read the headline. I was like, that can't be possible. Because
it's Victoria's Secret quit sponsoring her or something?
No,
I don't know.
They usually sign deals like when I think they sign like a 2 to 3 race deal. So like it's only going to be on the car for a couple of races, right? And so like especially like when it comes to like certain Cup drivers, right? When the season starts, they don't have a sponsor for all races. They still fill sponsors. I think Chase Elliott didn't fill out his full sponsor slate until like mid-April. Like some of those guys don't know what like is going to be on the car in Kansas of October or something like that. Like when they sign the deal with when they sign the deal with Napa, right, for Chase Elliott, for example, it's 26 races, and then Napa's like, we want these races, right? And then the other sponsors then pick from there. So part of it, what might have been too, they only signed on for 2 to 3 races because the more races you sign on for, the more money.
Yeah, but still, that's too bad though that she missed a race because didn't have any sponsorship.
Oh, absolutely. It's the most unfortunate part about racing is the sponsorship becomes a big deal, and sponsors are a very big deal when it comes to any sort of NASCAR series. So it's the hardest part because a lot of the times if you don't have funding, you're not going to get to the right, the right situation. So I'm really hoping that this isn't a sign of, the future for Tony Benninger. Hopefully she's able to get some sponsorship that's more consistent and on the car every week so that we can one day see her consistently running in the trucks or, in the Xfinity and maybe even a Cup Star one day.
I think she deserves a Cup start eventually.
But
eventually, not right at this second.
Oh yeah, it's going to take at least five years.
Yeah, it's going to take some time for her to become like great. She is 23, so give her a few years, and I think that she could be really good. How old's Haley Deegan? Haley's like 20.
She's younger than me, I think.
So I think she's my age, so she's like 20. Wow. She was actually born 2 months after me. She was born July 18th, 2001, so she's 21. So both Haley and Tori are very, very young, so we're going to be talking about them in this sport for a long time if they continue to progress.
Speaking of Haley Deegan, I did read somewhere that she might be on the hot seat.
Oh, definitely.
Because she's driving in the wrong series? Come on.
Yep. 100%. She needs to be in the Xfinity series.
And she's probably not going to get a seat in the Xfinity series if she's in the hot seat. You think so?
I think so. Knowing her, something will work out because she has sponsorship from Monster.
Yeah, I think that the sponsorship for her is a big deal because having that Monster sponsorship is going to be able to. She's a Stuart Haas. She seems like a Stuart Haas like driver. Like she seems like she's gonna go next year and take over she could be a 98 replacement or a 00 replacement sort of thing.
I think Cole Custer is still going to be there for a couple of years.
I think Custer stays. I don't know what happens to Riley Herbst. I don't know if Riley Herbst stays or goes, but who knows? Maybe even Stuart Haas tries to up add a third car into the Xfinity game. But who knows? And maybe maybe they don't. Maybe they don't. Maybe another team comes and steps into the fold too. But I definitely think that Stuart Haas is one of the most likely places for Haley Deegan for sure.
You gotta also think about it. She's in order to have a legitimate chance of having some representative results, she's got to have a decent ride.
Mm-hmm.
Like I always say, NASCAR is a semi-spec series because the teams that have more resources, like this goes for all three teams, or all three series, Junior Motorsports,
Joe Gibbs,
Hendrick, Joe Gibbs, etc. They're more likely to win than, say, Rick Ware Racing.
Right. Yeah, I think there's still that gap.
There's separation.
Right. Like, obviously they've tried to make it so there's a little bit more of a evenness to the playing field, but at the same time you're still going to have guys that have more resources that are going to continue to be successful above the rest. So for her, she's got to be able to get in a car that, she can be successful on. And like I said, I think Stewart Haas's Xfinity program is pretty solid. Their Cup program has a lot of issues, but when you compare their Xfinity program to some of these other Xfinity teams, I feel like they're kind of right in the mix. They fight really hard. Cole Custer does a solid job, but they need a little bit more to get past Junior Motorsports and to be able to get past, Colleague and some of those teams. So I think Haley's a good fit at Stewart Haas for a couple of years. I really do.
Think she could go to Junior?
She signed with Ford, so I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's hard to see that who knows, man? It's hard to see that Monster Energy sponsorship on a Junior Motorsports car. I feel like it would seem weird, a little bit out of place, but at the same time, I didn't expect to see the Menards on the 9 car, and while that still looks out of place, it exists. Out of place. It's the bright yellow. It's the bright yellow that gets me.
Napa to me looks a little bit odd on a 9 car because I always expect it to be Bud, Dodge. I don't know.
Yeah.
No, that's a fair point. My issue with the Napa schemes is like they could have much cooler schemes and they don't change them from year to year or anything like that. They could have a much cooler Chase Elliott scheme with a little bit more yellow incorporated. I feel like that would really work because I think that some of the schemes that I've liked best out of him that when he's driving in the Napa car are mainly the ones where there's more yellow in the car. And so I just like that. I always love Chase Elliott's. Like, I'm a big Little Caesars, and I love the Little Caesars car. I love the Hooters car. I wish that we saw Little Caesars car back on the track, but oh well.
Yeah, I mean, what if they did something like Michael Waltrip used to have, something similar?
They would have to
Michael Waltrip's car back in the day.
I think they would have to do it at Throwback Weekend if they were to do something like that.
Yeah, I think that'd be a really good Throwback Weekend car. By the way, since we're on the subject about sponsors and stuff, I wanted to mention that it was recently announced a couple weeks ago that Kyle Larson received a new sponsor. You can find it on his fire suit. It's called Jinya Ramen Bar. It is a ramen bar that I actually go to. They have one out here in Chandler. It's the main place that me and my friends go to get like real genuine ramen. And I just wanted to shout it out because I think if he wins or something like that, or if he finishes top 5, it's something like you get like 25% off, or there's some sort of deal if he finishes well. So all of my friends are now very intrigued in Kyle Larson finishing well, so we can go to Jinya for lunch on a Monday.
Yeah, well, that hasn't been too great recently.
No, I looked at the stats actually to see if there was maybe a finish that we missed, and no, since he's gotten the sponsorship, he has not finished well enough for the deal to go into effect. So that's awesome. That's awesome. But no, I just wanted to shout it out. Jinya's one of my favorite ramen bars, and gosh, I hope they end up on a car one day. I know
they might.
I hope. I love the Hendrick car scheme, but make room. Jinya car coming in.
I want to see cornflakes back on the 5.
Doesn't everybody?
That would probably have to be a Throwback Weekend deal. But what do we know? We don't get paid enough for this.
I wish we did, so I can make some rules changes, like no more stages. Have a point system that makes sense.
Exactly. We've gone far off the rails on this one. So
kangaroos.
Yeah, quite off the rails. Atlanta was this past weekend. Great racing for both the Xfinity and the Cup Series. William Byron got the win at Atlanta once again. he actually backed into this one. I'm going to say that. This is coming from a 24 fan. Got a lucky break with the rain at the right time, but he was able to get his way up to the front with a good pass on AJ Allmendinger, I will say.
Man, I was hoping AJ would win.
I know, because I think I have him in my playoff picture, but that's with a road course win, not a plate win. Anyway, like I said, 8th career win for Byron, 4th on the season, 2nd at Atlanta, both coming on the new configuration. What did you guys think about the pack racing last night? Because if you want my opinion, I think it was the best plate track we've had all year long.
That was a fun race. There were two things though, two major buzzkills. Of course, the rain, duh, and then the stage breaks. Think of how much more fun it would have been without the stage breaks.
You could argue though that the stage breaks are what created some of that chaos, like at the end of stage one. Like you could argue that at the same time, while the stage breaks did break some of that up, they may have also decided just to train and ride around and train the whole time had there been no stages. So that may have added an element to why they were racing the way that they did. But from my perspective, I said it in the group chat last night, guys. I really felt like the more these guys get used to this package at Atlanta and the more they get used to the speeds of the moves that have to be made, the better they are continuing to get and the better this racing is looking. I know a lot of people weren't very high on Atlanta after the first 2 times, after the third time, still shaky, but I finally think we're starting to see these guys get the hang of this new sort of Atlanta. And now that they've got the hang of it, they understand the runs they can make and just those moves of diving down to the bottom. How long can I be on this bottom lane before I need to get back to the top? All that was super interesting. And it's all stuff that was very, they've learned it over the last 3 races. They really put it into effect here. So the racing in Atlanta will continue to get better.
Yep.
One thing that stuck out to me is there wasn't a big one.
And that's fine.
Which was actually kind of amazing.
And we've talked about it many times. You don't necessarily need that big one to have good racing and to have a good race. And it's just it sucks so much that this race got rain delayed because it's probably going to affect how people view it because it shouldn't have. This was a great race overall. And I think that the tough part was the fact that it was more of a ended under caution situation where everybody felt like we could have went back green for a few more laps. And I certainly felt the same, but things work out the way they work out.
Yeah, and that I remember people, a few years ago, they didn't really say much about a rain win, which a win is a win, and whether you get lucky or not, whatever. But ever since Bubba Wallace had his first win in the rain, people have been complaining about it. So
that's just NASCAR fans wanting to complain about something.
Yeah, ever since the term Mickey Mouse win started coming into effect, I think we started seeing it more and more. So we can thank LeBron James and the Disney bubble of 2020 for that.
But yeah, I mean, yeah. Well, NASCAR fans on Facebook are some of the least pleasant.
Oh, yeah. Jacob, what were your thoughts on the pack racing, my friend?
I thought it was great. I genuinely did. And maybe if they tweak the super speedway package that they have now to from the 550 horsepower to the 670, maybe they can change. Maybe you can change a couple things, but I'm not an expert. So it was a great race. Definitely bummed out that it got rain delayed, but like I said, I think it was the best plate race that we've had all year. Because Talladega, I mean, it was Talladega, but not what we've seen from 2019 to 2021 with the big run package, which was a fantastic plate package.
I think that big run package, I've said it before, was my favorite plate package, but I think that because these speeds are you're in a much more confined space, things happen a lot quicker. I think that has lent itself to we're seeing racing that's closer to that style package than we did prior, and that's why it's not as much like some of these other super speedway races, because there's so much more room and there's so much more time for people to react to certain runs now as compared to the big run package and as compared to what we have at Atlanta. So Atlanta's kind of like that perfect median of like, hey, here, if for those of you who like the big run package, here you go. For those of you who like the new super speedway package, that's why we have Daytona and Talladega. So I kind of like that a little bit.
Now, going back to the stage breaks in Atlanta, let me ask you this. Say they did still have stages, but they just took away the breaks. Do you think the racing would have been just as good?
Absolutely. I have been I've been very adamant on the fact that I think we should get rid of stage cautions, because I think you can then still get that same amount of racing, and then it's like, okay, now you've earned your points. Okay, so now we continue on and we've still got strategy and stuff like that. Like, I'm not opposed to the idea of giving out points mid-race like that, because I do think it helps, and I do think, especially when we have 6 restrictor plate races, it helps keep guys from riding around in the back like we used to always see. So I think that getting rid of the cautions is it's a big thing that they need to do, in my opinion, because you add in the strategy while still getting to keep that mid-race points and still getting people to, run really, really hard. I think the problem is they might be how does the TV contract, how does it all work out with the TV contract entering next year? Because they obviously know how fans feel about it. They've experimented with it on the road courses. So it's possible it's something they're talking about, but I think maybe the TV contract might be holding up conversations. Maybe we see something new when the new TV contract comes out.
You think stage racing will eventually phase itself out?
I don't, unfortunately.
I don't.
I think it's here to stay. I think it's going to be a part of the sport for a while, and I think that NASCAR has made sure that they want to kind of feel modern, and in as much as fans may not like it, they want to feel like these other sports that people enjoy, like football, like basketball. They want people to feel that way about NASCAR, and as much as that may not be perfectly in line with how people feel, that's where they're going. And I think stage breaks kind of lends itself to that. Same with the playoffs. I think that if we see any changes to the playoffs, it's going to be we add 2 more races at the end of it. But it's just little changes that I think that everything that we have is here to stay. I just think there's ways to tweak every little thing that we have as far as our rule sets that can make them all better so that they work for the new fan and the old fan at the same time.
I remember Real Radman. He started talking about NASCAR. Great YouTube channel, by the way. If you like NASCAR games, check him out. But anyways, I remember he was talking about that, and basically he was saying that if he wants to watch entertainment, he watches NASCAR. NASCAR is all about entertainment. Yep. And if he wants to watch racing, he watches F1. But personally, I'd say if I want to watch racing, IndyCar. But still, that's besides the point. But
I'm a Radman supporter too. But when it comes to the playoffs and his viewpoints, usually I'm muting him between the months of September, October, and November, because he can't go 1 week without bitching. And I've said it many times in weeks past. Like, I said it a couple of years ago. I called him out on it. I was like, all you do is complain. And I like him. I like his videos. I like watching him. But all he does is complain about the playoffs. And I'm like, at some point, man, you got to get over it. We are entering year 10 next year. You got to let it go.
Yeah, you probably should be saying that about me too. Anyways, if you really count, the chase from 2003, I guess it's been around quite.
It'd be 20 years, yeah.
What's the chase? Did the chase get started in 2003?
2004.
Okay.
Kenseth was your final champion without it in 2003. He only won 1 race. That's why they implemented it in the first
place. I mean, yeah, I have some opinions on that, but let's move on.
All right. Our next race.
I don't feel like going on another rant.
Our next race is New Hampshire, Magic Mile. Who do we think is going to win, guys?
Oh man, I haven't seen a New Hampshire race in a long time.
It was a good race last year.
Who won last year?
Seabell.
No.
Yeah.
Almirola.
That was 2021. Are you
Really?
getting facts wrong? Are you getting facts wrong again?
Was that really 2021?
I thought you
Yes.
said, Jacob, I thought you said, are you committing tax fraud again? And I'm like, what?
Yes. That's fine.
I am committing tax fraud again. Wait, what?
Oh, now the FBI is going to be watching.
He is right. He is right. It is Christopher Bell. Wow. Does Christopher Bell win 2 in a row at his best track? Chris, what are your thoughts?
He could.
I can see it. I'm thinking Larson gets his luck back on track.
Dude, you're the reason he can't. You and Black Flags Matter are the reasons he cannot turn his freaking luck around.
Mm-hmm.
I
mean, gosh dang.
I'll put it this way. I'm not the biggest Larson fan in the world. So I say
I would say something right now, but I'd have to censor myself.
Yeah.
But that's fine.
Go on that we shouldn't go that deep into it. But anyway.
It's fine. It's fine. We're all here.
Everybody has their own opinions.
Correct.
Some of them are wrong, but everybody has
some of them. Yeah.
Oh, speaking of wrong opinions, I saw somebody post on Facebook that road course racing isn't real racing. That gave me headaches.
I blocked that post. I saw the same
post. Nope. Just no.
I mean,
just no.
Junior Johnson would have said something about that.
But that's Junior Johnson.
Well, Junior Johnson, he got brought up into road courses running bootleg whiskey.
But
running moonshine.
All right.
I can respect that crime.
All right, now who thinks they know who I'm picking?
I think I do.
Martin Truex.
I was going to say the exact same. Wow.
No. Give me Kevin.
I was hoping Kevin would win at yesterday.
I was too. I like Kevin. Kevin's good at in New Hampshire, and I think a Kevin Christopher battle at the end is kind of what we're going to see. I'm not going to rule out Denny Hamlin either. Denny Hamlin's really good at New Hampshire. This is one of those places that he could kind of come up, but he kind of feels like he's been real in the last couple of weeks. It's just one thing after another with him and Bowman. So,
you know who I'm feeling? Definitely Chase Elliott.
You were very excited about that one.
That just kind of
Chase Elliott, huh?
Chase Elliott is his pick.
Okay. I can dig it.
Where did he finish last year?
You know what?
Did he have a good race?
You guys left him. He finished second last year, I think.
Okay. And so, Jacob, you're going to pick Chris.
You guys left me with him. No, I'm going to pick MTJ. He should have won there last year. He should have won there last year in that awesome Interstate Batteries car.
After he won a couple of weeks ago, it's kind of the ketchup bottle theory now. He's running up in the top 5 almost every single race. Is he leading the points?
He might be.
He deserves to.
Byron's leading the playoff points, but I don't know who's leading. No, Byron's leading both the driver points and the playoff points.
Wow.
So,
Mason, you just went full Owen Wilson.
Wow.
Which, I mean, here, it makes sense. Byron, 4 wins, 8 top 5s, 11 top 10s. The next closest is going to be Kyle Busch with 3 wins, 7 top 5s, and 12 top 10s. Other than that, though, there's not a lot of guys with double-digit top 10s. The guys that do, Ryan Blaney and Christopher Bell, they just have a little bit less on the top 5. So we've really seen, guys like Christopher Bell or not Christopher Bell, I'm sorry, William Byron and Kyle Busch really step it up and be at the top of the board. But I also want to give credit to Kyle Larson too, who he may not have the double-digit top 10s. He's only got 9, but he's got 8 top 5s. If the man's finishing in the top 10, man, it's inside the top 5. Only once has he finished between 6th and in 10th. So big credit to him as long as they can get the 6 DNFs out of the way.
Yeah, I was about to say half those DNFs are thanks to Ross.
He has 6. Bubba Wallace has 5. Ryan Preece has 4. Austin Dillon has 6. Man.
That is unreal.
Austin Dillon was 6.
Bubba's had a bad few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And it's just like I said a few weeks ago on the podcast, right? How do they respond in the summer weeks where they struggled last year? Unfortunately, this time around, it's a lot more stuff out of their control. They've had the speed yet again. I mean, they have the speed. It's just, can stuff stay inside of their control? I don't know. It
Probably
seems
not.
like every week it's something that they, a mistake or something out of their control ruins their race.
I'll give Bubba the benefit of the doubt on the road course because he isn't the best road course driver.
He's been getting better, I feel like, on the road courses, but he's definitely not as good as you would want to see. And I think the difficult part for Bubba is that he does have those 5 DNFs, and all for various reasons, of course. But, when your DNF total is the same as your top 10 total, I think there's going to be a little bit of concern. So,
you think Michael Jordan might be getting a little bit fed up with him?
I don't know.
I would say no. I think that Michael Jordan, the manager, I think a lot of people when he came in, they were like, oh, he's going to expect greatness. He's going to expect success. He's also been the owner of the Charlotte Hornets for a long time. So I think he's more than happy with the amounts of steps forward they've consistently taken over the last couple of years. As long as to him, I think to him, as long as they're consistently making steps forward, he's going to feel fine about the situation. But I think that it definitely need to see a win out of Bubba this year. I think that at some point it's clear past the point that Bubba's going to light things up. He's going to kind of be one of those guys that wins 1, maybe 2 races a year, but he has to get to that point. And that's the point that they want to get him to. So if he can get to that point, he's going to be just fine. But he needs a win this year to, I think, really feel comfortable about his seat, because Reddick's going to win a couple more races this year, I imagine. And so, who knows? But I do want to say that it's been a couple weeks for Reddick too. It's been rough for all of 23XI. I mean, Reddick's had plenty of issues that most of which have not been his own fault. But, the whole team's had their issues. So they'll turn it around. Obviously, you got to hope that Bubba he's fallen out of the playoff picture for now. He's 3 points out. Does that drop continue to happen? He was in a couple weeks ago. So praying for him to hopefully pull through, but we'll see. He may be sitting outside the playoffs once again and may get that win in a race that doesn't matter as much for him.
Yeah, I started thinking too, what would give NASCAR Facebook an aneurysm would be they replace Bubba with Haley Deegan.
Oh, let's not even start on that.
No, if anything was to happen, John Hunter Nemechek would enter the 23 car.
Sorry, I had to get it out of my system real quick.
Dang, man doesn't like facts.
Oh, speaking of facts, you know something? I think we need to get Jacob's opinion on the street course race.
If you guys haven't looked already, go check out my article on BSP for the street course. That thing was awesome. We need more street courses in the future of NASCAR, whether they are Chicago or in I don't know, El Paso, Texas. Somewhere, I don't know. There needs to be more street courses in the future. Once a year, rotating locations, and don't have them line up with F1. Go to different cities, not Las Vegas, not Miami. Keep going to Dakota, that's fine. But keep going to different street courses with different cities. That may be a challenge with some different cities with, the politics side of it, but it's a thought at least.
Actually, Jacob, I'm going to disagree with you there.
Uh-oh.
And I like the idea. I really do. But I think Chicago should be one of those crown jewel races.
I don't know about if it's a crown jewel. It's only one race. So we've had the inaugural race.
I know it's hard to say. It's hard to say.
Well, look, I laid it out in an article this past week. I had my own article, my own piece that said kind of my opinion and what I think they should do with the street courses. And in short, I basically said, look, you keep Chicago around on the schedule. Okay. We've been coming up with all of these new events, but what we haven't done is create new traditions. We need to create new traditions, one of which needs to be the Chicago street course race. You keep the Chicago street course race on the schedule year in, year out. You build tradition with that race. Then what you do, you get rid of the Indianapolis road course, right? So then you're back down to 5 road course races. You put the Indy Oval back on the schedule where the road course is. You drop a Richmond date out of the equation, and then you add in another street course race that rotates every single year. I think you could easily start with Denver, and then I think maybe year 2, if Auto Club is still getting work done, maybe they go to San Diego for a year, and then they go to Seattle. But you can have, I think it's the perfect balance, in my opinion, and I said this in the article, it's the perfect balance of tradition and also having something that's fresh and new. And so you're not getting to a point where it feels tiring or, it feels overblown or we've done this too many times, because we've got our traditional race every year, and then we've got one that's entirely new every single year.
See, I like the Chicago race, and I think it should become a NASCAR Long Beach. You know what I'm saying? Because Long Beach is a crown jewel event for IndyCar, other than the obvious Indianapolis 500. I think I think Chicago should kind of be put in that same little thing as Long Beach.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what the future holds for street courses in the sport.
I can also see crown jewel events being Wilkesboro and Rockingham, especially Wilkesboro.
Yeah, definitely.
Speaking of which, we were talking about street races circulating. I just started thinking about a street race in Charlotte around, because the teams are mostly based in the Charlotte area.
Right there. And the Hall of Fame is there too.
And I think that would be
perfect.
I think that'd be a cool venue.
Mm-hmm.
I'd go. I'm 2 hours from there. I'd go. Heck, I might go to Atlanta next year. I'm going to at least try.
But
do it
anyway.
Do it around the factories, or the Hall of Fame. I think that would be cool.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
I want to go to the Hall of Fame. I've never been.
Oh, it's so cool. I've been 3 or 4 times. It's so cool.
Mason, have you been?
No, it's on my bucket list. I've never even been over to the Charlotte area. I was fortunate enough I got to go to the Daytona 500 in 2018 when lovely Austin Dillon won. So isn't that hilarious? So yeah, I went to the 2018 Daytona 500, but that's about as far east as I've ever been. I've never been to like New York. I've never been to Charlotte. I've never been to, Washington D.C. or anything like that. I've really just been down to Florida. So I did get to see the small little like museum that they have down in Florida. But other than that, I haven't been there, and it is on my bucket list to go to the Hall of Fame one day.
Yeah, I haven't been to Charlotte in years, but other than the airport, that don't count.
Yeah, the airport there's not fantastic, but we won't get into that.
but I think that would be a really cool one. Where the Panthers play, the Carolina Panthers play, that always kind of made me laugh every time that I was in Charlotte and drove by it, because it was just always so crammed in there.
Yeah, it's just there.
And it's just funny to see it all crammed in there. It's kind of like it doesn't quite, I don't want to say it doesn't belong, but it's like you cram something into a closet.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. A Charlotte street course race, I think, would be perfect, but it's almost too perfect because NASCAR officials would never do that.
Fair.
Yeah, Matt. If it makes sense, NASCAR doesn't want to do it.
Exactly. So let's wrap this episode up real quick because I've got something special for you guys.
Oh, Shouldn't we do coming to the line?
Yeah, let's do it if you got it ready.
Yeah, I've got coming to the line ready to go. We've got a couple questions for you. So we'll go ahead and start it off. Coming to the line. First question, we already talked about it a little bit, but Max Verstappen can now finish second in every remaining Grand Prix and still take home the championship. When will he officially clinch the championship?
Oh, I gotta look at the
calendar.
Yeah. Give me a quick second.
No, you were all good. If I had to make a pick just while you guys are doing that, I think by the time we get to Qatar around 18, I think he's going to have this thing wrapped up in a bow. Obviously, we got Hungary coming up in a couple of weeks, so that's going to be a good race. That's on July 21st through 23rd. Belgium, Netherlands, Italy, Singapore, Japan, Qatar, U.S., Mexico, Brazil, U.S., and Abu Dhabi.
Well,
I think he'll get it at Japan.
I think he'll get it at Japan too.
Okay,
I think he'll
clinch it. Japan's and a Qatar.
I think he'll clinch it again at Japan.
Okay. So everybody's saying Japan. I'm saying Qatar. We will find out when round 17 and round 18 rolls around. Now, moving on to our second question, our IndyCar question of the week. What are the chances Scott Dixon repeats at Toronto? Obviously, we made our picks, but what are the chances that Scott Dixon can repeat this weekend?
There's a solid chance.
Yeah.
But obviously we won't know because it's on Peacock.
Exactly.
Anyway, I think Dixon definitely has a solid chance of repeating at Toronto, and he needs to get this win if he's going to stay in the championship fight with his teammate Alex Palou, who he is currently 110 points back, I believe, and he's still second in the championship. So he needs to have not only a good weekend, but a great weekend with a win at Toronto.
Yeah, I agree. And I think his chances are pretty good, too. I mean, it would not surprise me if he was at the very least on the podium. And he's always there, you know?
Yeah, I kind of agree with Chris. I definitely think he's going to be somewhere up on the podium. Whether or not he's the winner is going to be the question. But definitely think it's going to be a good weekend for Scott Dixon at Toronto. Question is, does he repeat? I'm going to go with no. I don't think he repeats this weekend. But I think that there is a good chance. So don't be surprised if it does happen. But I'm not going to say he repeats this weekend.
I already forgot my pick.
It was Dixon.
Okay.
All right. Now moving on to our final question. Let's just touch on this very quickly, folks. Was NASCAR correct in calling the race last night when they did? Should they have tried to restart the race?
No, that was the right decision. I mean,
it was the right call.
How long was it going to rain all night, or supposed to rain about all night?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, they wouldn't have gotten the race restarted again until probably 1 to 2 o'clock Eastern time,
or 12:30 at the very earliest.
Yeah, so it's tough.
Yeah, it's a tough call, but they definitely made the right decision considering how Austin Dillon backed into his Daytona win last year. With the chaos when it literally downpoured in turn 1 and everyone died.
Yeah.
So
one of the things I didn't mention earlier today was the fact that happened at Daytona, and that probably affected how they drew this one up.
So yeah,
that too. They
either.
were talking about that on the thing on the broadcast.
Mm-hmm.
I completely forgot about that, honestly.
Good thing.
All right. Well, that officially wraps up coming to the line. If everybody's got their point across, Chris, you said that they made the right decision. Jacob, you said that they made the right decision. I kind of agree. I think that everybody just has to look at Daytona of last year and say, well, why didn't they push the issue more? Just watch that race and you'll find out why.
Exactly. Well, before we wrap up, I got two more things. SRX is returning this week.
Oh,
Thursday
yes.
Night Thunder is returning July 13th. Yeah, I actually don't know where they are. I just had their Twitter page pulled up. I forgot where they are. If I can find them. So yeah. So this weekend they are in Stafford. So if we can find that entry list, that would be even better.
Oh, no, it's not. I was like, is this the full-time entry list? And I'm like, no, it's not, unfortunately. But I do know Stafford's going to be an exciting weekend. If I had to pick just out of the guys that I know for sure should be running in the race, I love Tony Stewart this weekend. I wonder why. I think Tony will be good. But no, I think we could definitely see one of the – unfortunately, we're not going to get to see the short track ringers anymore. But I think we're going to get – like Kevin I'm trying to remember who's going to be at each race.
Harvick, Hamlin, Haley Deegan, Bobby Labonte, Boyer, Newman, and Brad Keselowski.
Dude, let me double down on my Harvickness. Harvick's going to win on Thursday, and then he's going to go out and kick butt on Sunday. Harvick's winning the SRS race this week for sure, but my boy Tony is going to give him quite the fight. Be sure to check it out. I'm excited. Tony's back in the car. Let's go.
It's going to be a good race.
SRX is big for me, getting to see my favorite driver again. So,
my favorite growing up is Bobby Labonte. I just love the 18 car, the Interstate Batteries 18 car.
All right. I think I'm going to go even bolder than Harvick, and you guys can call me crazy for this.
You're crazy.
I'm going to pick. I might be for this one. I'm going to pick Marco Andretti.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to pick Marco Andretti for.
Wasn't he the champion last year?
Yes, and he should not have won it because of the point scoring debacle between him and Ryan Newman. But anyway, I'm picking Marco Andretti to win at Stafford on Thursday on ESPN, not CBS, ESPN. At Thursday night, ESPN at 9 p.m.
Bestwick is still in the booth, though. That's all I care about.
I'm excited for that. So, and one more thing before we wrap up today. If you guys have been paying attention to the YouTube channel, by the time this comes out, these parts will be up. I have an extra pack of 2023 Donruss Racing I have not opened yet, so we are just going to open it up right here, live on air. Do I know what's in it? No. Because that's why we're opening it up.
You know what I always like to do? I always like to save the wrapper that they come in.
Yeah, so we got Lawless Allen for our first base.
I always love that name.
Lawless. We got Ben Rhodes. Michael McDowell. Yep. Our retro, Josh Berry.
Wow.
Is our retro.
Feel like much of a retro to me.
Jeremy Clements on the retro. Joey Logano retro. We got 3 retros. Ha! There you go. Nice. Jeff Gordon, Race Kings. That'll be going into my collection. Might have something here. Chase Elliott. Oh my gosh. Look at that, boys. Nice. Chase Elliott Race Day Relics. So there you go. I think that's the. I think that's a piece of. It's either a race suit or a chunk of tire. I'm not sure.
A buddy of mine has a tire in his living room, and race use tire. Nice. He's been meaning to make it into
So,
Disc.
and then we got a silver Race Kings Bubba. And then we got we got a royalty Dale Jr. Look at that for you.
That's a nice
Yeah, it's
card.
one of the subsets.
I love it.
And then our optic for this pack, C. Busher. It's our optic.
Nice.
So if you don't know, with 2023 Donruss, they come with at least one subset insert, one optic, and a couple base cards. So about 8 cards on pack. I feel like I got more than 8 cards. Oh, I definitely did. I got 11 cards in that pack, including the race day relic of Chase Elliott.
Wow, that was a pretty good pack then for you, huh?
Oh yeah. Just wait till you see
race day relic. That could be worth something.
It could be worth a couple bucks. This box definitely paid itself off. That's all I'm going to say to you guys, but you guys will have to go and watch the parts that are going to be uploaded through the week, because I'm not telling you who is the autograph, because Chris, you are going to like the autograph.
Okay.
I have a couple of guesses.
I'm not going to say, but you guys are going to like it. Boys, right. After the day that we've had, why don't you guys say we wrap it up?
I think it's a good time to wrap up the show. It was definitely an interesting show this week. I think I'd like to say, we've gotten, pretty far into this show, but I have so much fun being on here with you guys. It's so much fun getting on here every week, having a spot to talk about racing with people that I enjoy talking to. So I just wanted to point that out. It's always a good time, being on this show and hanging out.
Yeah, I mean, I feel the same way. I've been thinking the same thing for a long time. And I always look forward to Monday afternoons. That's when we record this, by the way.
Yeah, totally not dating the show at all. Anyway, guys, if we have
whenever this goes out.
Correct. Hopefully Friday afternoon. Anyway, if we have nothing more to say, I think that'll be it for us.
Yeah, I think that's good. Make sure you guys are checking us all out on Backsports page. We've all got articles that go up usually once every week, so make sure you guys are checking us out. We've all been working hard on the content page. Make sure you guys check out Chris, and make sure you guys check out Jacob and myself all on the Twitter pages as well. And we're excited for what's to come. There's a lot of good things coming for the podcast, so we're excited. And thank you again for listening to another fantastic episode.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm not excited about though?
Peacock.
Yeah. Exactly.
We're
Toronto.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, guys, where can we find you on social?
My Twitter is CJ Outside Line, and I am Christopher Shoemaker on Backsports page, and I'm actually working on a couple of articles right now. So be on the lookout for that.
Yeah, guys, make sure you guys are following me over on Twitter, Mace Hollywood, MaceHollywOod. Make sure you guys are following me over there on Twitter. I'm always posting updates kind of throughout the week and sharing opinions, not just about sports, but about other things as well. I usually share a lot of movies and TV opinions on there as well. And then make sure you guys are checking out the new articles as well. I had a new one out this week, got another new one coming out this week, and also a roundtable article with my football guys. So make sure you guys are checking out all the content on BSP, not just the motorsport stuff, but check out our football, our basketball, hockey, soccer. Check out all of our pages. We've got some very talented writers who consistently do a great job for us, and two of them are right above me here. So we're very proud of everybody, and we're gonna keep moving forward
today.
Huh?
You're so wholesome today.
I appreciate it, man. It was a long weekend for sure, and I appreciated the support that my Backsports page family showed me throughout the weekend. So I know who's there for me and who I.
You're one of the most talented people there. You're one of our leaders for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate that. I work hard, and I just want us to be successful, and I want everybody to have success. That's the main goal.
All right. You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at JWBarker24. You can also find me on BSP with our motorsports section. Try to post about once a week. Got a couple more projects in the works. Hoping to get those down in the next couple months. yeah, I think that'll do it for us today, guys.
That was a wild episode today. Togas, kangaroos.
It's fine.
Another great addition of taking the outside line. You take the inside line, it's the safe bet, but every time you take the outside line, my golly, it is going to be a mess.
Will you end up in the wall? Will you end up in the grass? Will you end up in the gravel trap? Or will you make the pass? Hey, that rhymed. That should be our slogan.
I love it. For those who are listening on Spotify or watching on YouTube, thank you for listening or watching. My name is Jacob Barker, once again joined with Chris Shoemaker and Mason Wood. We will catch you guys on the next episode of The Outside Line.
I'll see y'all. Have fun. Make new friends.
Hey everyone, thanks for watching this most recent edition of the Outside Line podcast. If you like what you heard, make sure to check us out on Spotify at The Outside Line. And if you liked Christopher, Jacob, and I's opinions, make sure to check us out on Bag Sports page for more articles and opinions about F1, NASCAR, and IndyCar. Thank you again for watching The Outside Line.